Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City. It's that time of year again. It's silly season, transfer rumours galore. We're going to open the floodgates for all the realistic transfer rumours, the nonsensical transfer rumours and the potentially interesting rumours that might have some legs. Which category this is going to fall under, I'm not too sure, because all I hope for is an absolutely swashbuckling transfer window for Manchester City. I don't know where swashbuckling came from, to be honest. I was going to go with superb, I thought about sensational, and I went with swashbuckling, like we're signing pirates. I don't know why I said swashbuckling. Pirates? Why are we signing pirates? Manchester City signed Long John Silver. I mean, if we were in for Long John Silver, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that Manchester United are also targeting Long John Silver, but you know full well they'll end up with Pegleg Pete, probably knowing them. But this Manchester City transfer rumour is getting off to an absolute flyer. What a start to the transfer window this is going to be, if this proves to be the case and proves to be true. Rodrygo, Real Madrid's Rodrygo, what a signing that would be. Whether there's any truth to this or not, the reports are coming from Marca, an individual called Carlos Carpio, who reports for the Marca. Now, whether this is going to be true or not, I don't know. Some people are looking at this and calling it lazy journalism. Well, that's a good job I'm not a journalist then, isn't it? It's a good job, eh? Although I do have a diploma, by the way, for those who are wondering. I do actually have a British College of Journalism diploma. So, I don't know, make of that what you will. Probably more than some people have got on YouTube talking about some nonsense, but I do have a journalistic diploma. But anyway, moving on. Mbappe's arrival. I think that's what sparked this. Comments from Rodrygo, comments from Pep Guardiola. I'm going to get into all of this in this video as well and show you guys what both individuals have been saying. Obviously factoring in the arrival of Kylian Mbappe, because I'm sorry, but Rodrygo's too good. Too good to be sat on the bench with Vinicius Jr. Also, don't forget the arrival of Endrick as well. Now, he's a 17-year-old coming in predominantly as a centre-forward. Rodrygo has played predominantly as a centre-forward this season. He hasn't really fixed a position at Real Madrid this season. He's played on the left, he's played as a false nine, he's played as an out-and-out centre-forward, he's played on the right, he's played as a number 10. He's played everywhere. So that versatility is exactly the sort of thing that Pep Guardiola looks for in a player like this, in that particular position as well. Let's have a quick look at his stats, actually, just to get you going for this season. This is across all competitions with 50 appearances, 3,600 plus minutes, 17 goals, 9 assists. So there's your G&A. For those wondering what's his G&A, that's G&A there for you. 17 and 9, pretty impressive. 11 big chances created. A stat that I've not included on there, by the way, is 22 big chances missed this season, which isn't that bad, and that was across all competitions. That would place him 5th in the Premier League. For big chances missed. That's behind Darwin Núñez, Nicholas Jackson, Ollie Watkins and Erling Haaland. On a separate subject entirely, by the way, Erling Haaland missing 34 big chances this season. He scored 27. So just think of that's unbelievable that Manchester City were able to create enough big chances for him to score 27 and miss 34. 60 plus chances, clear-cut chances we created for Erling Haaland. So our midfield was purring this season. You add Rodrygo to it and you never know. You never know. Whether this is going to be true or not is dubious. And as you can see, again, I popped the successful dribble percentage because I thought it was applicable considering the type of players that Manchester City are going for. You factor in the recent signing of Doku, the upcoming signing of Savio. Will he be starting for Manchester City? Because that hasn't been decided yet. He's going away on pre-season with Manchester City, to which once that's been completed, the final decision will be made after pre-season as to whether he's going to stay with Manchester City for the upcoming 24-25 season or be loaned back out again and maybe come back during January. Who knows? But we do have a pretty good history with South Americans. Don't forget that. You just think back to all of the players, the classic players, your Zaballetas. I nearly said Di Michaelis, but he is South American. I wouldn't call him a classic Manchester City player. But, you know, Aguero, Carlos Tevez, Pablo Zabaleta. We've had some not-so-classic players of Maicon, Fernando. But Fernandinho, yes, I'll have that very much. Thank you very much. Edison, you know. We've got Alvarez, Gabriel Jesus. You know, we've got some quality players that have come from that part of the world. And maybe, just maybe, Rodrygo could be another name. But he speaks very highly of City as well. So let's have a look at what he said recently about Manchester City. So this was after the first leg against Real Madrid. He said, to be honest, we knew they were better. For me, they are the best team in the world, the one that plays the best football. So that's very complimentary. Comments that he was asked to comment on City, and he did do that. So, I mean, you can't really make too much of that, to be honest. He's just being very complimentary. Rodrygo comments on his future more recently. As of the last week, though, he said this: anything can happen. I have a contract here, but the years I have spent here have been a pleasure. So you can get 2 and 2 and get 5. I mean, nowadays people get 2 and 2 and get 1-1-5, don't they? But realistically, there is some keeping my doors open. I'm not burning my bridges sort of comments. That's quite open-minded comments. There was no categoric, I'm staying, I don't know, I'm not interested in leaving, I'm staying at Real Madrid. There was none of that. He didn't say that. He could quite easily have said that, but he didn't. He didn't say that. Pep Guardiola as well seems to be a big fan of him as well. Pep himself seems to be a big fan of him, and vice versa. Rodrygo seems to be a big fan of Pep Guardiola as well, because there was that video that went round. I'll play that for you now. Just have a quick look. It's in Spanish though, so I will translate this for you.
Te sente o carrasco do City já?
Nah. O Guardiola passou me olhando ali.
So this was suggested that he was acting starstruck, okay? Because what he actually commented after the question, do you feel like City's executioner, was, Pep Guardiola's just walked past and went embarrassed and got a little bit starstruck. I mean, I think he was probably dodging the question by the fact that you just accused him of being City's executioner. Then the boss of City walks past at that exact moment. So I feel like there was just a little bit of jest there, a little bit of joking. Again, you could make a mountain out of a molehill here, but Pep Guardiola's comments have been interesting as well. So they're piling up these little bits of evidence to suggest that City are at least interested in him, and he hasn't ruled out the move. It's starting to add up a little bit. Which, I mean, again, make of it what you will. But Pep Guardiola asked whether he would like to sign Rodrygo after the first leg. He said, certainly, I would be interested, but Rodrygo is a player from another team and I am satisfied with the athletes that I have. Very boilerplate, very templated, standard response from a manager to ask, or to respond to a question rather, on a player that is not one of their players and whether they're interested in signing them. But Pep's not been shy of openly suggesting that I'm interested in players. He was very open with Harry Kane, Harry Maguire back in the day. He openly said, yes, we are interested in this player. And he's done it again. He said, certainly, I would be interested. The word certainly is quite a key word. You know, he's not mincing there, is he? And Pep does have this tendency to look at players firsthand. And we do go for players that he's experienced playing against. And we often see the best player that was in that team that we played against. You think of Monaco, Bernardo Silva, when he ran rings around Yaya Toure in that Champions League tie. Pep was witnessing that and think, yeah, get him in. Get Bernardo Silva in. Josko Gvardiol, RB Leipzig, scoring a goal against us, leaping up like a salmon to tower above Ruben Diaz to power one header in away at RB Leipzig. Pep Guardiola, sign him up, please. We've just been destroyed. He's been labelled as City's executioner. Well, sign him up then. Stop him chopping off the Manchester City heads and start chopping off Real Madrid heads as some sort of sweet revenge for Manchester City, potentially. You never know. You never know. What does this spell for the future of Jack Grealish? That's a question that's I want you guys to answer in the comments. Do you see a future for Jack Grealish with City clearly targeting a very different type of winger now? What does this mean for Bernardo Silva? Could be he factored in to this way of thinking? Will this happen this summer? That's an interesting debate as well, because, I mean, the reports are suggesting 170 million euros is what it would take to prize Rodrygo out of the hands of Real Madrid. Now, that's no short change, is it? That's a big lump sum of cash that I don't think City would be prepared to pay that sort of money, because I think if you asked Cheeky and the board how they feel about the 100 million they spent on Jack Grealish, I think they'd say we went too high. That's too aggressive. And now City try to keep these fees below 100 million. Now to go to 170 million euros for Rodrygo, while some may say, yeah, he's worth it, City's business policy and transfer policy isn't quite as aggressive as that. Some people like to think it is, and we buy whoever we want for whatever price that they slap on their heads. I don't think so. I don't think we'd go for that. I think this is more realistic in next summer, in truth, because I feel like Rodrygo will probably stay at Real Madrid this year, and he will find himself on the bench a lot more, to which that will grow his level of frustration. And maybe the idea of playing more predominantly and more frequently in a Manchester City side will open his mind up to the idea of being a Manchester City player. Especially if Pep Guardiola signs a new contract as well. That could play a role in next summer. But if we were to target him this summer, what a summer transfer we've got ahead of us. Because signing the likes of him, how will he fit in with the likes of Doku? Would Doku be on the left, or would Rodrygo be on the left? Because he said himself he prefers to play on the left. Would Doku go on the right? What about Savio? Would he be a little bit of an understudy as one of our wingers? Amazing prospect to think about Rodrygo being at Manchester City. But get in the comments below, let us know your thoughts. Do you think this is going to happen? Do you think there's any truth to it? Let us know. Like and subscribe to Typical City, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now, holding up silver.